Today I'm going to walk another section of the Pennine Way from Callis Bridge, where both the Rochdale Canal and River Calder are crossed, to Widdop. The first part of the walk is to climb out of the Calder Valley. As I climb out of the Calder Valley, I get splendid views across to Stoodley Pike on my left. I've just come through Higher Underbank Farm, and shortly there should be the remains of a chapel on the left. Well, the Pennine Way now hairpins around to the right, but I can see the old chapel burial ground on my left. Well, we've got the Wainwright route swinging round to the left, and the official route straight on past the chapel, which we're going to follow. Well, I've climbed just under 500 feet from the Calder Valley and covered about 1 mile. Now I'm heading towards Hebble Hole. Well, that was a splendid little climb from the Calder Valley with great views to the valley below. Now we've got some open fields to cross. Well, we're just coming up to a minor road. We've got a finger post here. It says Callis Bridge 1 mile, but I think it's just a bit over that. And the footpath continues to Hebble Hole, half a mile. Well, I'm now heading towards Calder Clough, where I'm going to cross Calder Water by a 17th century clapper bridge. Well, here we are at Hebble Hole, and the clapper bridge is just ahead. Well, this is the 17th century clapper bridge. Now, I believe the tree came down and actually snapped the bridge over on the right hand side, and it has been repaired. And you can just see the repair over to the right, so we'll have a look at that when we get on the bridge. You can imagine how many footsteps this bridge has seen over the centuries. And here we can see the break that's been repaired. Well, we're now climbing out of Calder Clough and heading towards Heptonstall Moor. Well, there you go, May's shop, 50 metres, sells out the once. But we're going to carry on along the Pennine Way. Well, I've now clocked up about 1100 foot of ascent, 2.5 miles. I'm now approaching Heptonstall Moor. Well, I really do like these moorland walks. You see the heather, it's wonderful. We're heading towards Gibson Mill Reservoir. Well, on my right I can see the trees down in Hardcastle Crags, and that will be my route back today. Well, it's quite breezy on Heptonstall Moor, but now Gibson Mill Reservoir is coming into view. Well, having crossed Heptonstall Moor, I come to a minor track, and I'm going to turn right down towards Gibson Mill Reservoir and then head down towards Graining Water. Well, I'm now passing Gibson cottages on my left. Well, past Gibson cottages there's another finger post, signpost to Clough's Court, and that's more or less where we'll be finishing this section of the Pennine Way. Well, I'm now heading down towards Graining Water, which we shall cross by the means of a footbridge and then climb up to a minor road. I've just arrived at the minor road, and it says I've come 3 miles from Hebble Hole. To my right is the Packhorse Inn, but I don't know whether that's still open or not. And then walking to my left is Widdop Reservoir, and that's the direction we're heading in now. Well, after a short section of walking on the road, we now turn right and we're heading towards Walsall Reservoirs, but we're not going to go as far as that before we leave the Pennine Way. Well, I've done 6 miles, and it's at this point I'm going to leave the Pennine Way, which continues along this road towards Top Withens. I'm now going to turn right, head down towards Blackdean with Alcomden Water on my left. Well, that's Alcomden Water down there to my left. Well, here we turn left, cross Alcomden Water and head into Blackdean. Well, I've been following the streamside path through Blackdean, which is not the most straightforward of paths. There is a higher path marked as a public right-of-way, which is probably easier. The path has now climbed up out of the Dean, and we are now heading towards Overwood. Well, this is Overwood. From Overwood I've headed back down to Hebden Water, which I'm going to cross now, and then I'm going to follow it through Hardcastle Crags to Gibson Mill. Well, here we are at Gibson Mill. You can just see it through the trees on the left. Well, I'm going to resist the temptation to buy an ice cream, and we're going to just carry straight on, climb the hill opposite and head towards Slack. Well, there's a finger post here which has Gibson Mill behind us, where we've come from, Clough Hole car park to the right, but we're going to carry on straight on through the woods. Well, we've now climbed up through the trees from Gibson Mill, and shortly there'll be a right turn which will take us straight to Slack. Well, here we are, Slack Top. Well, at Slack Top we have the Widdop Road, which is the road we crossed earlier in our walk today. And there's an old post here, 2 cone, 11 miles. And in the other direction to Heptonstall, 1/4 mile. But we're not going to go down the main road, we're going to find a public footpath. Well, at Slack Top we passed the chapel on the right, and just before we get to this row of houses we're going to turn left and pick up a public right-of-way. Below and to the right of me is Lum Bank, which was once owned by the poet Ted Hughes, and it's now used as a creative writing centre. I'm just going to continue along the footpath towards Heptonstall. This path forms part of the Calder Valley. From this path you get some splendid views back down towards the Calder Valley and to Stoodley Pike in the distance. We're now going to head to the village of Heptonstall. In the graveyard of Heptonstall Church is the grave of the American poet Sylvia Plath, who was married to Ted Hughes. Another notable grave at Heptonstall is the grave of King David Hartley, one of the Cragg Vale Coiners, who was hanged in 17th century at Tyburn near York. Here we see the new church at Heptonstall, set against the ruins of the old. Well, there's plenty of interest in Heptonstall, but we're not going to stop long. We're just going to head back down towards Hebden Bridge. Arrived, Hebden Bridge. Well, distance wise it was about 12 miles to Hebden Bridge. Now I've got another mile and a half down the Rochdale Canal back to Callis Bridge. Well, I think today's walk has been excellent. It's been a good route, plenty of variety. The steep sided valleys of Calder Valley up onto Heptonstall Moor, and then the busy village of Heptonstall and Hebden Bridge on the way back. And here we are back at Callis Bridge. Here are the statistics for today's walk. Just over 14 miles, but that does include a bit of walking around Heptonstall and Hebden Bridge, and over 2,000 foot of ascent, which, considering it's Calder Valley, is not surprising.